said they wanted to know a little bit about me, so a little bit about me. My personal life, I'm married, I have a 27-year-old daughter. I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I moved to Norwalk, California when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I spent about 25 years living in Norwalk, which is for me, it was a great place to grow up. I enjoyed it. I graduated from Norwalk High School. I attended Cerritos College for a little bit, where I majored in dropping classes. I wasn't the greatest student. Then after about age 29 or 30, I moved to the city of La Mirada. I've been in the city of La Mirada since then. I've been here for the past 22 years, so La Mirada has a special place for me. So when I talk to some of you guys, you tell me what your business is, and Dr. Smith, I actually, I've been there many a times for many different things. Road to Recovery, I was there a couple of years ago. My wife's actually involved with the board. It's a big deal. It's a very great organization. I support it 100%. So I know the city of Norwalk well, but I know the city of La Mirada better. I've been here for the past 22 years. It's a great place to be. It's my home now. When I retire, this is the place I'll stay until my last days. Maybe eventually I'll join one of the groups here. But right now I'm pretty darn busy with the work I have. My professional career, I've been on the Sheriff's Department for 27 years. I started in 1995, so right around 27 years. I started out with the Indian Academy over here in Whittier. I did my 6 months there. Then I went to the jails up in the West Side up there in the Castaic area. Spent about a year there. Then got transferred to Twin Towers when it was brand new and just opened up. Spent about a year there as well. 1998, I was sent to the patrol environment, which has been great for me. I've been there for 24 years. I worked Lennox Station in the Inglewood area. I worked our transit, which is in the Willowbrook area. But I spent 9 years after that in the Compton area, which was a great learning experience for me. Learned a lot, met a lot of good people, a lot of good organizations, and I really loved it, had a great time doing that. After that, when I was at Compton Station, I was a field training officer, I was a special assignment team, I was a detective for a while. Then I promoted to sergeant, and I came to Norwalk Station, which where I always wanted to be because that was my home, so I actually wanted to be at Norwalk Station. Did about 4.5 years at Norwalk Station, then I promoted to getting lieutenant. I worked Sentry Station in the city of Linwood. Then eventually I transferred out to be the second in command of the station on Marina Del Rey. Now you're talking about a good gig. Now that's a good gig. But making the haul from La Mirada to Marina Del Rey every day was about 3 hours round trip. But I did that for about 6 years. Ultimately I promoted to captain and I stayed there. It's a great community, great place to be. My office was right on the water. Part of our operation was the boat operation, so I had it made. But when the spot came open here at Norwalk Station, so those of you that don't know, Norwalk Station covers Norwalk, the city of La Mirada, South Whittier, and East Whittier. So I know we have a substation here in La Mirada, but it's only a substation. The main station is in actually the city of Norwalk. It's Norwalk Station. Anyway, so the spot came open here. My dream job was to be the captain of Norwalk Station because obviously Norwalk's my home, La Mirada's my home. What better place to retire? So I have about 3 years before I retire, so I applied for the position, and ultimately I got an interview with both cities and Janice Hound's office, and it just kind of worked out, and I got the job. Very, very lucky, very, very happy to be here. There's no better place, in my opinion, no better place in the Sheriff's Department to be than the captain of the station here. Over my years, I've worked with the Chamber of Commerce in Florence, Firestone, Willowbrook, as well as the LAX Coastal Chamber of Commerce. Great organizations, great groups of people. I really appreciate them. But now I'm here, and I look forward to working with you guys. When I was invited by Rich Trujillo to, told me I needed to come and meet this group. He's my neighbor. So I see him daily, every single day. He's a great man. I love the guy. He's been very good to me. So I was very happy to take that invitation. I'm very happy to be here. I have a lot to learn. I'm still learning as I go. But one thing I do know is the community, which I think is half the battle right there. So very happy to be here. I know there's a few questions that we talked about probably before this meeting, but I forgot exactly what they were.
Well, my concern for our business community is the situation that a lot of cities, especially up north, that are facing, where I'll use myself as an example. I can walk into Home Depot, pick up a couple of tools that as long as it's under $900, and I can walk out, and Home Depot can't do anything. And my impression before talking to the captain was that literally the sheriff's department would stop me and just write me a ticket. Now he has updated information, which I think he will share. I'm sure he'll share with us. But more importantly, we as merchants need to understand what is the procedure we need to follow legally in order to involve the sheriff's department, and that's where I want to lead.
Sure. So that whole ticket ready thing, when we release people to like we get a guy in a stolen car, this is the craziest thing I ever heard of. We get a guy in a stolen car and we arrest him. Well, we put him in handcuffs and he says, just hurry up and give me my ticket and let me go. And unfortunately, that's just what it was. We give him a ticket and we let him go. Oftentimes the case didn't get filed because of other political reasons, but that's different. That was because of the no bill policy because of COVID. So they didn't want us arresting people, bringing them in the jail system, and spreading COVID around the jail system. Oh, okay, so we went with that for too long. So as of July 1st, that changed. So the no bill is gone.
Wow.
So you're gonna applaud me. I didn't do it. I'm very happy for it. So now the procedure is, so misdemeanors we can still write a citation in the field and release them on certain misdemeanors. But if we catch somebody shoplifting, oftentimes, at Home Depot or wherever, we don't just write them a ticket. I encourage our people now to bring them to the jail, get them live scan, check their fingerprints, get their photograph taken so we can update our database on who these people are. And if it's a misdemeanor, which is, there's certain criteria for misdemeanor, they stay there for about 8 hours until their fingerprints come back, and maybe we make sure they're not wanted for murder or something like that, they don't have outstanding warrants. Write them a citation, then we release them from the jail. A lot of that releasing them in the field stuff is over. That's not the way it's going to be anymore. They're going to go to jail, they're going to do their time, at least till they go to court. Yeah, that's a felony anyway. But the misdemeanors are going to go to at least 8 hours unless they're wanted for something else, and then we'll release them from the jails. No longer this, hey, you got a stolen car here, we're going to release you, and then go ahead and walk off. Those days are over, at least for now, until somebody else tries something crazy. But so that's really good news. That should make a difference once the criminal catches on that, well, I'm not going to be set free as soon as they stop me. That should be done.
Now, before we go into our Q&A portion of our discussion with the captain, you had mentioned to me there's a difference between a 911 call and then a regular call to the sheriff's department, depending on the type of criminal activity. Should you explain that to us?
Sure. So we have two different numbers. Obviously, 911. Everybody knows that number. Then we have the business line number. So it's hard to put on this class and kind of make everybody be comfortable with it right away. But 911 is only for emergencies. So if there's a crime that happened and the guys are in their car and they're already gone, you'd be better off calling the business line and leaving the 911 line free for something that's actually occurring right now. So a crime in progress, we'll respond with the lights and siren and stuff like that. If it's not a crime in progress, we'll respond to it in a priority way. We'll hurry to get there, but we won't have our lights. We won't be running red lights and stuff like that. So 911 calls are mainly reserved for more like crimes in progress. Now, I'm not going to expect you guys to get that right every single time. So if you call 911 for something because you think it's an emergency, that's perfectly fine, because it's hard to distinguish sometimes for people what's an emergency, what's not an emergency. What might be an emergency for you might not necessarily be the same exactly what we classify as an emergency. So it's really hard to distinguish. When in doubt, call 911. If you think someone's life's in danger, it's a big emergency, call 911. If not, I'd recommend you call the sheriff's station's business line. And if you have a pen, you can write it down if you don't have it already. It's area code 562-863-8711. You can look that up online. It's pretty easy to find. But if you think it's an emergency, 911, then we'll tell you if it's something we'll respond to in an emergent fashion or not.
Okay, now, to make our captain feel welcome and that you were listening to him, I need 5 questions from the audience. Okay? So ask 5 questions of a non-personal kind of thing. No.
That's okay.
Oh, okay, he said okay, so 5 questions anytime, go for it. I need 5 questions, so let's start with the table. This table has to give me 3 questions. First one, somebody stand up and ask a question.
Can you explain to them the importance of business owner appearing in court? If you go to the effort of arresting somebody, DNA files, and then all of a sudden CBS tells there are people they can't go to court, how that affects future relations.
So the easiest way to explain it is we don't have a victim, we don't have a crime. So if the victim of the crime doesn't show up in court, we're not going to get this. This is not going to go anywhere. That person will be released. and he'll be back to terrorize the business community or the residential community. So it's a big deal. If you're a victim of a crime, it's a big deal to show up in court.
Okay, another question. Okay, Jack.
Captain,
Sir?
catalytic converters are very popular. Is there anything being done for the black market that you can share with us? There's a reason they're getting stolen. Are we doing anything beyond just trying to protect our own CCs?
So, as far as protecting our own, the city just passed an ordinance. Anybody caught in possession of a catalytic converter without legal documentation is guilty of a misdemeanor, which is a good start. That means if we see someone walking down the street with a catalytic converter, we can arrest them based on that, which is a big deal. Oftentimes, if we don't, like I said earlier, we don't have a victim, we don't have a crime. We see someone with a catalytic converter, we don't have a victim of a crime. It's really hard to arrest this person for that, although we know they most likely stole it, because who the hell walks around with a dirty catalytic converter? As far as the black market goes, they steal these things because the precious metals inside these things are worth a lot of money. So we have a part of our department, and well, actually it's a task force now that's looking into these places, these recycling centers, or other scrap metal places that are buying these things. So that's beyond the station level. That's a little bit bigger as far as our department and working with other agencies throughout the state to address those kind of things. But there are things being done.
All right. Oh, over here, question.
Hi, Captain. I wanted to ask you if you could speak to the problem of addiction in La Mirada and what are the ramifications if someone is caught in possession and what are the different levels?
Sure. Sure. So addiction is, well, like you guys said earlier, it's not a La Mirada problem. But so if it applies to La Mirada, it applies to every city throughout this country. The addiction problem is a big deal. I've seen it a lot in my family as well. None of us are immune to it. We've all probably been touched by it in some way or another. La Mirada, we do have an addiction problem, obviously. When we catch somebody that's under the influence, it's a misdemeanor. If we can prove they're under the influence, our guys are usually pretty good about determining those kind of things. But the chances are nothing's really going to happen to them. Before, we used to arrest them. If they arrested for a misdemeanor, they get booked as far as fingerprints and their photograph taken. They'd be released on a citation. They would go to court. In this case, majority of the time, this is the same as possession of a personal use. They go to court. The judge would say, hey, we're going to leave this as a fine, but you have to go to Prop 36, drug diversion. And that drug diversion will be in the classes they have to take. Maybe they help them, maybe not, but at least it's something. Well, now with the new political atmosphere, that's gone. So there's no Prop 36, so they go there, the case is dismissed, they go back to the streets and they continue using, or they go and they continue selling or whatever they do. It's a very sad thing, but that's what we get for I can't talk politics, but our current political system is kind of broken. And when they take some of the tools away like that, it's kind of a big deal. And there's really no way for us as law enforcement to help people in addiction, except to refer them to groups, like Third Step, or some of the other groups that are out there. And that's what we try to do as much as we can, but unfortunately we don't have all the resources for that kind of stuff.
I've got a question about homelessness.
Sure.
How does the city or the station deal with that? What are your policies? Because we've had some businesses leave because there are people in camps right in front of their storefront.
So I'm very glad you brought that up. So every time I run across a business, wherever I'm at, 'cause I like to go in the field and talk to people as much as I can just to get to know some of the residents, some of the business owners. If you have a business, I would recommend you have a no loitering or no trespassing sign in front of your business. That way, if someone homeless is not a crime. It's a very unfortunate thing. I think we all agree on homelessness. It's a very sad thing to see. You want to help everybody you can possibly help, but the reality is someone will refuse to help. I've seen it over. I came from Marina Del Rey, which borders Venice, which is ground zero for homelessness. Venice was completely destroyed by the fact that they didn't address the issues. And when they put the outreach workers out there, about 99% of the time, they refused services because this is where they want to be, which I want to be allowed to eat too. I can't. So if they have they're set up in front of your business, they're panhandling, or they're sleeping on your sidewalk, blocking your door, whatever. It's very helpful if you have no loitering sign there, because that gives us probable cause to arrest this person for that particular crime and get him off the sidewalk there. Now, we don't like just arrest a homeless guy and put him in jail or whatever. We actually try to provide services the best we can. I'm not sure exactly what our deputies use in La Mirada, because I haven't gotten to that detail yet with them. But there are homeless outreach groups that they can refer these people to and try to get them some kind of help instead of us having to arrest them on a regular basis, because that does no good for us, that does no good for them. So I am 100% pro helping businesses when it comes to those kind of things. So if you have those kind of problems, please call us. But do me a favor and post those signs if you don't have one in front of your business, especially the places where they actually stay or sleep. I'm dealing with O'Reilly's Burger in the city of Norwalk right now. And they've almost ruined the business because that's where they hang out nonstop. But I talked to business owners, I hate put up these no loitering signs, help us out a little bit. So far, nothing. So I don't know, but I would recommend that if you have a business. I don't care what city you're in. I would recommend you post no loitering signs, even though they look ugly. It's better than the alternative.
Any other questions? All right, then please, I really encourage you all to shake the captain's hands before you leave. Introduce yourself personally, because he's going to be here protecting us and serving us. And this is our first line of defense for any criminal that comes into our city. And we are grateful that you are here. And congratulations on your appointment. And we hope you have a very successful time here in the city of La Mirada. So let's give it up to the captain.